G'day everyone, I'm Dave. Thank you for joining me. And in this week's show, if it's a show, this week's presentation, maybe this week's video, yes, all right, we're going to be talking about topical authority and AGI. I think AGI is here. We've basically, the last 2 or 3 weeks with OpenClaw, ClaudeBot, whatever you want to call it, that's opened people's eyes. It's not the be all and end all solution, but it's opened people's eyes. And people now are really saying that AGI has arrived. And if we just define AGI as basically an AI assistant or an AI agent that is as smart as a human, not any more or any less smart than a human, just can do the tasks that a human can do and is as smart as a human and can be autonomous like a human. So if we take that as the base definition, I'm pretty sure we've arrived. The world's gone crazy on everything to do with AI agents and how they can control things. Now, just to give you an idea, imagine you start off with a large language model like ChatGPT and it starts being conversational. It's brought up on conversation. It rules the roost. Own the conversation, absolutely essential. I'll show you that why in a minute. I've got some really good examples of how you can use this in your business and how if you don't understand it, someone else is going to do it, all right? So basically, I will show you a solution, I will show you the figures, I will show you the workflow, I will show you what you need to do and why it's important, because to be honest, most people have absolutely no idea. 99.9% of people on this planet have no idea what's about to hit them when it comes to AI and the fact that the world's turned upside down. So don't just take my word for it. Let's go down here and listen to a very quick article. Y Combinator are basically a part of all the academic movement in the US, in Silicon Valley. They fund their venture capital funding, right? They started, Sam Altman was in there, all the best of the best all go through Y Combinator. Every week or so they do a podcast, and because ClaudeBot came out and literally opened the eyes of everybody, and again, it's not the be all and end all, it's just the first one. It's the first one that actually does things, right? As an agent, it's become mainstream or widespread or viral, whatever you want to call it. But what they're talking about is really interesting. It's what I've been talking about for a while. You do not build for humans anymore. We are only building for machines. The world of online is machines. Basically, to cut to the chase, going forward, you will get your information by simply asking your AI assistant to give you and recommend what it recommends, right? So if you are not being cited by LLMs, your AI has no way of recommending you. So you need to take this into consideration. Now, it gets even more serious than that, to the point where the web is literally going to be just a playground for agents and for us to look at an image, to draw up an image to look at. So if we say to our agent, book us a hotel in Paris, and it says, yep, I found a really nice hotel. You're not just going to say, yeah, book it. Go, oh, well, can I see some images and whatever, just like Google does now at home. It'll just say, yep, your images are on your phone, and you look at your images, right? So that's about, you're not going to go and try and do research anymore and find things out and do whatever. You're just going to allocate that to your agent. The agent knows you, it knows everything. That's the standpoint you need to think about. Now, with that in mind, let's quickly go down here. And I just want to show a small snippet of the guys from Y Combinator talking about since the advent of OpenClaw and the fact now it's got Maltbook, which I'll show you in a minute as well, where all the agents, basically like it's a Facebook for agents, right? But it opens up the future of, it won't be humans talking to humans. It'll be agents talking to agents to get the benefit for humans because they're trying to find the information. How do they find the information? If it's not topical, authoritative, constructed in machine language, in other words, built for the machines, that is your new client. The AI is it. Forget humans. AI are your new clients. You need to build for this. Let's have a listen to what Y Combinator have got to say about that issue.
Because the documentation needs to be optimized, just doesn't need to be optimized for humans, it needs to be optimized for agents. And so Minify is going to be able to do that for essentially every developer tool company. And if you extrapolate that forward to the fact that just that there's going to be so many more, like exponentially more agents making exponentially more decisions about which tools to use than humans have ever done. You know, even if you can eke out like a 5% improvement on your like developer documentation, like the impact on your business as a developer tool could be like, you know, gigantic, which is sort of unprecedented, really.
Okay, what they're talking about is let's say you're doing some vibe coding on ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whichever, Gemini, whatever one you're using, right? And you need your AI to go and get some documentation. What I've found is like particular companies, their documentation is really hard to find. So the LLM can't come back with that data. So it will recommend someone else because it can't get their documentation. It'll go, oh, don't use this company, X, why don't you use Y? And the reason it's recommending Y is because the documentation's there ready for it to absorb to continue your work. So if you cannot be found by the LLM, you are not going to be referred. And other businesses that are found by LLMs will be referred. That's exactly what they're talking about. The world now is the machines. We need to build for the machines. Let's keep listening here.
Speaking of email, there's another YC company that's very relevant to this conversation. There's a YC company called Agent Mail that makes inboxes for AI agents. And when they first started doing this, it seemed like it was like a very like on the edge kind of idea, and it wasn't exactly clear like who would want this. But it makes sense because like in theory, you could maybe get your OpenClaw to like sign up for a Gmail account in order to use email, but it's like actually really hard to get it to do that because Gmail and every email provider has intentionally made it as difficult as possible for any automation to like use the product in order to prevent spam. And so Agent Mail went the opposite way. They built like the first email provider that's designed for AI agents, and it was doing well even before OpenClaw, but once OpenClaw got big, it just like exploded.
But OpenClaw is like the perfect example of it, right? Like where I know some people are certainly connecting OpenClaw to their like personal email accounts, but it's not.
It's kind of sketch.
Yeah, you should not tell anyone. You should not tweet about it. But you like certainly, if you want to have sort of your virtual personal AI assistant, the way to go about it is to just have it set it up with its own email, its own phone number.
Yeah, has anybody built like Twilio for agents yet, or like phone numbers for agents? I know this whole Agent Mail thing makes me wonder like what are the other X's for agents that people have to build?
Sounds like a request for startup that could be.
Yes, okay. I will show you now, right, what they're talking about, where now you've got to think about, okay, all right, now we've got our head. So this has been such a rush the last couple of years. Okay, first of all, most people think that AI is just ChatGPT or all those lines. You just ask questions, right? And anyone who asked a question a year ago and asked a question now to any of the LLMs, it's like asking a kid a year ago, now you're asking a professor, right? In effect, that's the scenario. So a lot of people are going, oh, this AI thing or whatever, you know. It is just evolving at unbelievable exponential speed. And this is for everything, right? So now you've got your head around the agents. Great, you can talk to them. Now we've given agents tools. They can go and do things. They can perform things on our behalf, and they're autonomous because they've got an AI brain, and they're as smart as you, if not smarter. In fact, they're probably smarter than all of us. In fact, they are smarter than all of us. Anyway, the point is, we've got this world. Oh, we've got Facebook for this. We've got real estate sites for that. We've got this for that. Guess what? Humans aren't using the web. Why do you want a real estate site for humans? You want a real estate site for agents. This is what you need to do. The people that are at the vanguard of this are doing this, and they will reap the benefits. This is what I have been doing. This is what I want to show you. Anyway, let's go on down here and we'll just look at a couple of examples that they've used, right? So what they're talking about basically is Maltbook, right? So we've got OpenClaw. Now OpenClaw, again, I've gone over this in a couple of previous videos. OpenClaw, let's imagine that is the first AI assistant that is been made easy out of the box, full of security holes, full of whatever, but it's the first of the first, right? So it's basically, imagine, we'll go back up here because it's easy to do it. The AI is the brain, right? And all we do is we go in and we drag information for the brain. So what's happened in the past is if you create a site, you put a wrap around it. So in other words, even the AI assistants I build, I use multiple AI agents, mainly OpenAI because it's the best and the guardrails are the best. I basically use that brain, I put a wrap around that brain, but that is the brain. All the tooling and the controlling is all the work, but that's the brain. It refers to the brain, it comes back out, right? Now, imagine now with an AI agent, you've got that, but it's not a wrapper. It's actually a harness. You've harnessed this AI in a box and you've given it tools that it can use. It makes it far more powerful. So if you visualize that, you'll sort of start to understand why this is a big deal. Now, this is the first one. But the interesting part is you've got these AI agents. Someone set up Maltbook, which your OpenAI Claude bot or whatever can go and join Facebook. And it starts discussing other ideas and doing everything else. This is what we're saying. The agents, if someone says, what restaurant should I go to, wherever, right? The agents can discuss and go, oh no, some agent said this is good. Some agent said that was good. Oh no, apparently there's a problem booking it. It's just mind-blowing. It is totally mind-blowing. And then they come back. So Next one is, right, we know they've already started the Church of Malt. They've started, again, their own email. They've started their own, I don't know, Tinder, whatever. Who knows what they're doing? But the whole point is that we need to write code for agents. And that is the reason that I showed you that. And these are people right at the vanguard, right at the cutting edge that see what's happening here. They can see the trends, all right? So hopefully I'll be in that boat as well. So let's go down here. I'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that and I'll get rid of that. I have explained all these in previous videos, right? So what we'll do now is we'll go down and I want to show you exactly why topical authority is totally and utterly crucial for your business. You need to understand how it works, what you can do, right, to be found and recommended by an LLM. And it's all about citations. So let's go down and we'll have a look at this now. And we'll look at the Bing. So in the previous episode, I showed you that now with the webmaster tool that you can use in Bing, it now actually shows citations and that information is valuable. So we've got clues to the way machines think, because even if you scan Maltbot and you can actually see the way they're going and what they're looking for, and there's a few tips and tricks, the way you structure your data and everything else is crucial now. Building for agents, that is it. 101, building for agents. Okay, so we'll go down here now. So this is Bondi Bronte, right? So for those of you that have watched the show before, or the channel, or the program, or whatever you want me to call it, let's just say the video, all right, you'll know about Bondi Bronte. Bondi Bronte is a site that's set up probably about 10, 11 months ago now. And it was set up as an AI travel guide, recommendation for local businesses, what people are coming when they see, and there are thousands and thousands of questions. Now, a lot of those questions we generated because we made it a public service, so the information is synthesized, it's created, right? But it doesn't matter whether it's created. If you listen to a song and you like the song, does it matter who created the song? No. If you've got the information and it answers your question and it's not spammy and it's not guiding the conversation or it's not doing anything like that, it's a good service, right? So you can see here there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of output pages with hundreds and hundreds of answers. In fact, there are lots of answers, and we can see here, if we go into here where we've got our transcript, there are 5,560 answers across this range of categories for the Bondi Bronte Sydney Eastern Suburbs, answering every single conceivable question you can find. Why is this important? This is important because this has become topical authority, okay? So I am going to show you how we can manage this and why we need to manage it and why it's so important. So number one, if we go down here and we can see in Bing where we've got our site, there's 448 pages that have been indexed by Bing, right? Hasn't been indexed that well by Google, but it doesn't matter. The figures on the server show that it is basically going very well. And why is it going very well? Because it's been built for agents. It's not been built for clicks, because clicks do no longer matter. Look at this. 293 impressions of category markets for Bondi Bronte, but only 2 clicks. If we go up here and we have a look at the search performance, we can see that Bondi Bronte has only had 13 clicks. So that's not a great value, right? Because people aren't going to Bondi Bronte. If people go to Bondi Bronte, what they do is they will go to the app. I'll show you the app here. So there's the app on your phone. You've headed off to Bondi for the weekend. You want to ask a question. All right, let's have a look here. What is a really good swimwear shop that I can go and purchase a pair of Speedos for my visit to Bondi Beach? All right, so I will just show you that on the phone there so you can see what's going on. So what it's going to do now, it's going to go and answer that question. It's thinking about it. It's checking all the details. This is a very large, customized, all the businesses in Bondi have been discovered and put on here, plus all the general information about Bondi, all going on the phone. And what happens then is, we'll go back down here now. We'll go back down here and we'll look at, oh, here we go. Just wait. There's our answer coming out there, right? So we can see what it's recommending. So that is when someone visits the site, right? So if they were to go and Google it and they find it and they click on it and they do it, but most people are doing it on a phone like this because that is the whole idea. It's an AI assistant for Bondi. All right, so we can see it's given us all the details. Now, why is that important? Let's come back down to here. All right, we've got search performance. We've only had 13 clicks and 746 impressions. That sums up what I talked about before, where the great divide between how many people view your links on the old Google 10 whatever links and how many people click. It's not happening anymore, right? People are just being referred and recommended. This is why citations are super important. Right, we've got 122 citations from Bondi Bronte, right? They are gold. Let's have a look at what people have been getting their answers done. So what I did is I thought, as an experiment, what I'll do is I'll go markets, running, equestrian, parking options. There's one. Let's have a look at parking options. Let's have a look at the first commercial thing, swimwear shops. Okay, that's it. I don't think running clubs are really commercial, right? Question activities, no. Parking, you want to find a car parking spot. You're worried about the climate, is it going to rain? Who manages the beach? And swimwear, right? So this gives us a guide. 5 citations on swimwear, right, in Bondi. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go to ChatGPT. Now, because when I do these, I can't go into my ChatGPT because my ChatGPT basically, let me get out of here for a minute, will be slanted. So I need to open up an incognito window, which is just a raw session of ChatGPT. All right, so going back to the car parking thing, we can see here, car parking in Bronte. I'll move this screen over here. Okay, that has given us parking where it is. Now, look where all the referrals are. Bondi Bronte. And here in the list of referrals, car parking options, Bondi Bronte. Transportation guide, Bondi Bronte, right? All of these, parking regulations, Bondi Bronte. Street parking. This is now, look, this is ranking above the government Bondi Bronte site because it has been built as topical authority for Bondi. And it doesn't matter whether people are going on the internet and finding it on Google. That doesn't matter. People are saying, I want to find a parking spot in Bronte, or I'm going to the beach. Where am I going to park? Right? They go to ChatGPT or whatever. And this is what comes up. It is a source of truth. It has been designed to be a source of truth and a transcript. Right? Let's go to the other one that I said, which I think is, where are we? Swimwear. All right. So we'll go back down here. So we've asked about recommended swimwear shops. Okay. Recommended swimwear shops. Again, we go up here, we've got referrals by Bondi Bronte. Sea Folly, Bondi Junction, referred by Bondi Bronte, right? So that is a commercial application in which you've been referred. Now, we can see here that shopping options in Bondi Bronte, right? Eco-friendly shopping options. And this page, right, has been designed for agents. It's also been designed for Google and Bing. But basically H1 tag, H2 tag follows the schema. So that is basically why that works. Now, if we go back and we have a look at a couple of other of the sites, you'll start to see, right? So let's say Khao Lak, which is a place in Thailand, fairly well-known place, but not as big as Phuket or anything like that. Hua Hin, quite a well-known place, okay? But let's go back to the shopping one, right? So I've just asked a question on my phone on Bondi Bronte, right? I can ask it online as well, but I've asked it on the phone. I then want to go to the home page of Bondi Bronte where it will put up the last question that was displayed. Swimwear shopping. Here we go. Swimwear shopping. All right. So we've got category swimwear shopping and we've got category there swimwear shopping. I want to show you something interesting, right? So that question I just asked. What are some good swimwear shops for purchasing speedos near Bondi Beach, right? Bondi Surf Club, they obviously sell things, and Sea Folly, right? So it's recommended. There's their address. It's recommended the stuff. Now, it hasn't got a phone number because I deliberately haven't put a phone number on there because if someone wants to put a phone number on there, I want to verify it's right and they can sort it out with us. But at the end of the day, that's the information. There's their address. That's the business. It's all there and answered, okay? Now, the interesting thing is, if we look at this page here, right, this is a page I've created for agents. Now, this automatically updates. So we can see here that I've asked a new question. I deliberately did this before I did. So if I refresh this, this information will be updated and changed. And this is fed to the agents. Okay, so we can see here that we've got that question I've just asked, and there it is. It's given Bondi Surf Club and Sea Folly with their address and everything. So it's answered the information there, okay? So the other thing that we can actually do is, I will show you the output of that page. That is actually designed for the agents to find. All right, so we'll have a look here. So this page has all the questions and answers. Now, this is separate from the code. This is actually going out and the agents are discovering this because it's written in the right format, conversational format, that then makes it understand what's going on with that question, okay? So this happens in live time. So let's go now and see some other examples here, right? So as I showed you with Khao Lak and with, say, Hua Hin. If we come up here, tattoo shops in Khao Lak, Phang Nga, you can see Khao Lak online has been recommended. Just there, Khao Lak Tattoo Central, right? There it is there. Category, tattoo shops, right? So that is just a town in Thailand that I built to experiment to see what information comes. How, right, there we go, tattoo shops, there it is there, right? So we'll go, right, there's the Bondi car parking one. Okay, Golf Thailand, that's another one I didn't show you, right? We want to know we're traveling to Thailand. We want to know what caddy services there are, right? So we can see here, referred by Golf Thailand, Golf Thailand, Golf Thailand, bookings, typical costs, tipping, Golf Thailand, right? It's got all the prices. It's got all the information, all recommended by Golf Thailand, right? Now, there's other golf guides down here that have also recommended, but look, right? We have got Golf Thailand, Golf Thailand, Golf Thailand, Golf Thailand, Golf Savers, right? Topical Authority. Let's have a look at another one. Hua Hin, right? A well-known town, right? What's it? In Hua Hin, what are some good snorkeling spots, right? Again, right, we've got Hua Hin Online, Hua Hin Online, Hua Hin Online, right? It is being found by the LLM and recommended by the LLM. And I know that because when I go into the data, when we go, we can test what the output pages that are being cited are, and we can just check those, right? So super important that we own the conversation. Now, that leads us to the next section. Here's our transcript, right? And this has got all the conversational categories, questions and answers. And you can see there's 11 questions and answers here. There's 9 there. If I want to go to surfing shops, we can see down here that surfing shops will actually show us the surfing shop solutions. It's just thinking at the minute. Okay, so surfing shops. We can see here that we've got surfing shops because I've selected surfing shops. So there's all the questions and answers on surfing shops with all the different times and dates and everything that the question's been asked. Now, obviously, we want to keep feeding this machine. We want to make sure that we've got the questions and answers so we can continue to be cited with relevant questions. Now, this is where the study and the research comes in. This is where creating your own tools and creating your own stuff makes a huge difference. And if you don't understand that you can do that, you're also going to be left behind. So these transcripts here, right? The questions and answers, they can all be edited. So if I don't like a particular question or answer, we can change it. But to generate these questions and answers, once upon a time, I used to have to go to the AI, get it to generate the questions and answers, do this. Then as I've discovered and found better ways to do it, we still need to look at now what sort of questions are getting found. Now, what they basically are now, AI loves structured data. It loves it presented perfectly because it is very lazy and it likes to have it. So those who take the time to do it, but take the time. Take the time, I hear you cry. How do you save time? How do you increase your productivity? Let's have a look at the second part of this video and I will show you how this works. I have created a tool and this tool basically has the transcript that from all that conversation, questions and answers, okay? I can now very using AI at about 10 steps of the way. There's 10 different AI calls here, right? I'm going to add to this campaign. I'm going to add questions to this campaign, right? So we can see here. So this is how you manage this system. That's basically what I'm saying, right? So you need to be able to do this manually or you need to be able to manage it to have success. There's 5,561 questions here, okay? All those questions and answers have got how many questions and how many answers they've got. So what this tool does, it actually knows I've uploaded the latest transcript file where this is getting the information from. I've then said, okay, I want to go into campaign mode. I want to update these questions and answers. And I've set this up so the AI will go through deep research and come back with questions and answers. It will check every question and answer that is already there so it doesn't repeat questions and answers, right? So it's not spam, it's not just creating and churning out garbage. This is research. No different if I said to someone that worked for me, I want you to come up with 1,000 questions about comparing different parts of the eastern suburbs. Say, what beach is better, Bondi or Bronte? Should we go to this shopping centre or that shopping centre? What shop should be, how do you compare this to that? This is really hot topics that the AI loves. So you need to be able to produce that synthesized data to feed them. So my prompt here is generate a new set of high quality decision focused travel and lifestyle questions, right? And we want to use language such as evaluate, compare, contrast, analyze, review. This is gold for LLMs. They love it. They love it because You ask a question, what is the better car to get, this or that? And it knows the answer, right? So basically, it craves this data. So what this tool does, and it's been running now for a little while, hopefully it'll finish before the end of this video, it should go very close, right? 42 minutes it's been running. So what I've done is I've got some presets in here. So I can choose, now in this case I've chose expert authority tone. I can choose different types of tone. I've set these parameters, but it's just because they cover most of the areas of questioning. I can spread the questions and answers so they appear they've been over the last 120 days, right? Not just all bombarded at once. That's important as well. The AI assistants need to know that it's staggered across because we're presenting them that information in the other document with every page. Okay, I have a choice between just I just want some quick questions, or I want deep research. Deep research uses deep research tokens to do deep research. I have then said, okay, I want a minimum of one question in anyone that's got questions between 6 and 15 items. I want a minimum of one question in that category related to that, and maximum of 2. Now this will run and it will do all the deep research. Then it will produce me the final document that I can then change over. Now the way I do it, I've built another tool. So this tool actually enables me to take the old transcript. Yeah, so we'll just go down and we'll check on how the transcript file update, which is creating all the new questions and answers for the Bondi Bronte site. So we'll pop down here now. So we can see that it's been running for about 62 minutes and it's completed. So again, just to recap, we've told it to ask questions using the vernacular that the AI assistants are now looking for, because to be cited, these are the sort of phrases and context, okay? So this is a good hack, right? So also too, now what we'll do is we'll actually take the downloaded file. So it's produced the file. I've got the downloaded file. I've gone and I've renamed the file. So I can now go to my transcript tool. Now I've checked the current transcript, right? So the current transcript's fine. So what I do now is I choose the file. So I'll choose the file that I want to actually upload, so which is basically the transcript store file. Now the previous file was 6,778 kilobytes. This one's 7,512, so we know it's added some knowledge. I'll select that. So we'll come back down here now. Okay, so I've selected that and I've gone, it's validated it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to replace it. Now, I'll replace that, and what it does, it will attach this to the vector database where the information lies, and it should give me a success when it's been done. Okay, done. All right, success. All right, so that's where we can see that it's actually been uploaded and it's 7.9, so it's better. Now, this is the interesting part. If we go over here, this is the current Bondi Bronte output. You can see we've got 5,561 questions, right? Now I'm going to refresh this because we've just updated. So let's see how many questions we've got. Log in here. 6,540 questions. All right, so if we now go to the site, I'll refresh the site, it'll show us our latest questions. So we see there, florist recommendations, surf competition. So let's just click on the first one here and see what the question is. Is it worth investing in a florist for an event decorations if in Bondi compared to do-it-yourself options? These are the sort of questions they're looking for, right? Hiring a professional florist for event decorations in Bondi can significantly elevate the aesthetic and ambience of your event, okay? So we can see what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a local florist. These are the sort of questions, right? Can florists benefit from social media? Can florists benefit from online ordering? Yes, they can, right? What's the best florist in Bronte, right? So this is a great example of now creating, let's have a look at shopping information. All right, shopping information. Is shopping at Bondi Junction, Westfield worth the experience compared to local shops in Bondi? I suppose it depends who you ask. There's been plenty of experiences at Bondi Junction, Westfield. But anyway, is shopping in Bondi Junction, Westfield worth the experience, right? So we've actually got compare Bondi Beach to those in Bronte with, okay, how do the shopping experiences in Bondi Beach compare to those in Bronte with families for young kids, right? So you can see that we've now synthesized more questions, more valid data using deep research to be able to produce the outcome, which means it increases our chances more than better of being found and cited by the LLMs. So you can see there, the system I've created is what you need. It doesn't matter whether you do it manually or you automate it, right? But I have spent 12 months building this system. It is a proven track record. If you look at my past videos, you'll actually see. So just a word of advice. This is what you need to start doing. You need to understand AI, and you also need to do this. So yes, all right, so we'll continue on now. The way I used to do it was get questions and answers and run them through the LLM. Then I had another tool that overnight would run and do the questions and answers. This is a far better and far more efficient way to do it. And this is why the other part of the mechanism, you need to be able to build the tools to increase your productivity to do this stuff. You know you've got to do something to improve being found and being recommended by LLMs. That's your only goal now, really, right? Your website, number one, needs an AI assistant just to touch the water, learn how this AI stuff works. Then you're going to seriously start, how am I going to get found? Because it's going to be distribution. Everyone is going to be spinning out products. I tell you now, everyone is going to have a solution, but it's those who understand and can implement them that will win in the end. Again, you've just got to listen to the guys in Y Combinator. The whole world has now changed within a couple of months, literally since November last year. So 3 months, all of a sudden people are now seriously doing agents. Now, OpenAI has literally bought Peter, the guy who actually designed Claude Bot, whatever, OpenClaw. And that's just the first example, right? So they will bring this into mainstream. They will. You will just select your agent. Like I said in the last episode, you're going to choose between. Am I going to be a Gemini Google fan? Am I going to be an OpenAI fan? Am I going to be an Anthropic Claude fan? Right? Whatever the model you want to use, this is the one that you're going to choose and get allegiance with. No different to your iPhone or Android phone, whatever. Right? It's just obvious. It's the way it's worked in the past. It's going to continue in the future. OpenAI have also now rumoured about their new device, and their new device is going to be what they say is a camera speakerphone in your house, just like Google or Alexa, but it's got a camera, and you enable it and it will monitor everything that goes on because AI is multimodal. It makes perfect sense to use the camera and the sound. It can do video. It can monitor what you do. Now, people say, oh yes, but I'm giving up my privacy. Put your hand up if you're on Facebook. Guess what? You've given up your privacy. Put your hand up if you've got Google or Alexa in your house. Guess what? You've given up your privacy. Are you on the internet? Oh, you've given up your privacy. Everyone's been giving up their privacy. What do they give up their privacy for? For the benefits that it gets. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. Okay, back to... Okay, so just a bit of background. I create a video and I will create the video in video format and also download it as an MP3. Right, so there's the video and I download it as an MP3. Then what I do is I'll create some thumbnails, which now I can do with OpenAI quite well, which is fairly straightforward. Then I use Opus Clip to help me create the shorts, the video shorts. Right? But then the most important one is I've got my transcript editor here, and what it does, I've just loaded that MP3 file into my machine. I'm using AI to chunk it, analyze it, and I'm downloading a final zip file. And in this final zip file has given me the transcript, the raw transcript, and the YouTube MP3. Let's have a look. So there's some suggested titles. There's my YouTube description, right? So I've got all that ready to go. I've got the full transcript ready to go for my podcast that's been split up. So I can now feed that into my podcast machine to make my podcast. All automated. Now, there's a perfect case in point of why businesses that use automations and understand AI, I'm using a brain to create this, right? It's going in, it's creating that information for me. That is saving me time, increasing my productivity, which means my business will survive. Will yours? I've created all the stuff ready to go. So all I'm saying to you guys are, if you're interested in what I've got to say, please contact me up above below. Hopefully you find my information useful. I try and make these videos so they actually mean something, what's happening right now and where it's going. And those of you that are into AI and watching me, good on you, because you're a very small percentage. The lag behind people that do not understand AI is, to me, astonishing. But it's going to come with a rush. People are going to have to catch up because all of a sudden the competition is going to be there and you'll be forced to do it, which is unfortunate. I suggest you just start learning about AI now as best you can. Best way to do it, get an AI assistant. I can build you one. You start playing with it. It's unbelievable. That will open your eyes to a whole new world. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I shall catch you in the next one.